Welcome back to the channel everyone, and a huge warm welcome to all the new viewers who love hidden treasures history and the unbelievable stories hiding inside everyday pocket change, because today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking and talked about modern coin mysteries in American numismatics, the 1975 D1 coin, a penny that millions of people have held, spent, ignored, and tossed into jars without ever realizing that under very rare circumstances this ordinary-looking copper coin has been linked to values reaching an astonishing $38 million. And the reason is not luck, not hype, but a fascinating combination of minting errors, transitional metal mysteries, historical production pressures, and the razor-thin line between common change and legendary rarity. So settle in, because by the end of this story, you may never look at a penny the same way again, and you might even feel the urge to check every single coin you own, starting with the humble Lincoln cent. Struck at the Denver Mint in 1975, a year that on the surface seems completely normal, but behind the scenes was anything but ordinary. During the mid-1970s, the United States Mint was under enormous strain. Inflation was rising, copper prices were unstable, the nation was still feeling the aftershocks of the early 70s economic turmoil, and demand for circulating coinage was massive. Pennies were being produced by the billions, and when production numbers reach that level, the margin for mistakes grows dramatically, which is where the 1975 D cent enters the spotlight, because while the vast majority of these coins are worth only face value, a microscopic number are believed to have been struck with extraordinary anomalies so rare and so controversial that they have become the stuff of legend among collectors. The first and most important factor behind the staggering valuation stories surrounding the 1975 D penny is the possibility of transitional metal errors. During this era, the Mint was experimenting, monitoring, and preparing for future composition changes. Copper supplies were costly, and although the official switch to copper-plated zinc occurred later in 1982, testing and planchet experimentation did occur earlier than many people realize, which opens the door to one of the most valuable what-if scenarios in modern coin collecting: the possibility of a 1975 D cent struck on an unauthorized experimental planchet or an off-metal blank, such as a bronze alloy not intended for that year, or even a foreign or wrong alloy planchet accidentally fed into the presses. Coins like this are not supposed to exist, and when they do, they are often destroyed before leaving the mint, but history has proven again and again that some escape, and when they do, collectors go wild, because an off-metal Lincoln cent can instantly become a multi-million-dollar artifact if authenticated, especially when tied to a year in mint where no such composition was officially released. Another major value driver lies in double die errors, and not the common minor doubling seen on many coins, but extreme hub doubling, where the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile appears dramatically doubled, visible even to the naked eye. If a 1975 D cent were discovered with a bold double die obverse or reverse showing strong separation in the date, motto, or memorial inscriptions, it would instantly rank among the most valuable error pennies ever known, because Denver doubled dies are far scarcer than Philadelphia examples, and most were caught and destroyed before circulation. The thought of a pristine uncirculated 1975 D double die with dramatic separation surviving into the modern era fuels the $38 million conversations, because rarity multiplied by condition multiplied by demand creates explosive value. And that is before we even consider strike errors, such as multiple strikes, brockages, or cap die impressions, which are extraordinarily rare on cents and almost unheard of, surviving in high grade, especially from the 70s, when quality control was tightening yet still imperfect. Then there is the legendary discussion of wrong date or mule errors, the idea that a 1975 D cent could carry elements from a different year die, such as a transitional reverse hub or mismatched obverse reverse pairing, sounds impossible, but history shows us examples like the 1992 close AM penny or the 1983 double die that defied expectations for decades before discovery. If a 1975 D cent surface with a reverse hub not officially used that year, or a mismatched die pairing confirmed by die markers and mint documentation, it would rewrite numismatic history overnight, and values would no longer be speculative. They would be whatever the market demanded, and for a unique coin with no comparable example, that demand could easily soar into eight-figure territory. Condition plays a massive role in this story, because a flawless mint state specimen magnifies rarity exponentially. A circulated error is valuable, a mint state error is priceless, and a proof-like or specially struck example from Denver, a mint not known for proofs, would raise immediate red flags and intense excitement, suggesting the possibility of experimental strikes, die trials, or presentation pieces that were never meant to leave the facility. Another layer of intrigue comes from weight anomalies. A standard 1975 cent should weigh approximately 3.11 grams, but collectors have reported rare cents weighing significantly more or less, indicating off-metal strikes or improperly alloyed planchets. A verified 1975 cent with a weight inconsistent with known standards and matching no other regular issue would ignite bidding wars instantly, because weight is one of the hardest variables to fake and one of the strongest indicators of genuine mint error. Add to that metallurgical analysis showing unusual alloy percentages, and suddenly you are no longer holding a penny, you are holding a historical accident worth more than most homes. Then there is the possibility of missing mint marks or altered mint marks, where the D mint mark appears filled, repunched, doubled, or completely absent due to grease-filled dies or die polishing. While most missing mint mark stories are exaggerated, a genuine Denver coin struck from a die where the mint mark was intentionally removed or never punched during experimental phases would be monumental, because it suggests procedural deviation at the mint, something collectors crave documentation for because it connects the coin directly to internal mint operations. The fascination with the 1975 penny also comes from its timing. The mid-70s were a turning point in U.S. coinage design, technology, and materials, and collectors know that transition years produce monsters, hidden rarities that often go unnoticed for decades until the right expert, the right microscope, and the right curiosity collide, which is why stories of pennies worth millions are not dismissed outright by serious numismatists, because history has proven them true time and time again, from the 1943 copper cent to the 1944 steel cent to modern clothes and discoveries, all of which began as rumors laughed at by skeptics, until one authenticated example changed everything. The idea of a $38 million valuation does not mean every 1975 penny is worth that amount, but it does mean that a single unique example, with the right combination of off-metal composition, dramatic error, pristine condition, and undeniable authentication, could theoretically command such a price, especially in a market where ultra-high net worth collectors, museums, and private institutions compete not for metal, but for stories. And the story of a forgotten Denver penny escaping the mint against all odds, only to resurface decades later, is exactly the kind of narrative that fuels record-breaking auction results, which is why collectors are urged to examine their coins carefully, checking weight, magnetism, strike quality, die alignment, lettering, shape, rim anomalies, and surface texture, because clues are often subtle and dismissed as damage when they are actually signs of something extraordinary. And as you listen to this story, remember that history is not finished being written. New discoveries are still being made, jars are still being opened, rolls are still being searched, and somewhere, perhaps right now, a 1975 cent with a secret locked inside its copper surface is waiting to be recognized. And when it is, the world will once again be reminded that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprises. So if you enjoy uncovering hidden value, forgotten history, and the thrill of possibility, make sure you stay tuned, keep searching, and never underestimate the change in your pocket, because today it might be 1 cent, but tomorrow it could be $38 million.